can be a little louder. I think that's okay. All right. So like I mentioned, I've got a couple things before we physically get started with the show. Right now we're doing great. Well, let's make sure we are keeping those stairways on either side clear. And again, this front area. If you notice that there's like a lot of space next to you and you're not saving space for like family members, if you want to do a scoot, because I know we have a couple of friends off to the side that are still looking for seats. But with that, we'll get started with our Spire Sparky show. So, who here is excited to see the show? All right, perfect. Well, before we bring our friends out here onto the stage, I've got a couple of things we're going to learn just a little bit. We at Como have two of the three groups of animals that are in the family of pinnipeds. Does anyone know what that means? Pinnipeds, anybody? Did anyone hear it for the first time about 10 seconds ago? Okay, a couple hands, a couple of you being honest with me. Awesome. So pinniped is simply a term for fin-footed animals or fin-footed mammals, is what we use for here for Como. And like I mentioned, we have two of the three groups here. We have some seals. We have two harbor seals and one gray seal. And then we have some sea lions. We have three California sea lions. We have Subi, Poppy, and Nico. We might be seeing two of them up here today, while a few others in the back. And then there's a third group. We don't have them here at Como. They get really big. They have pretty awesome beards. They have very long tusks. Anybody? Loris is perfect. Like I said, they're a little big for us here at Como, so we do not have them. We do have our seals and sea lion friends. Now before, once again, they come on up to stage, how many of you brought a 6 or 7-year-old with you today, or younger? Okay, a couple of us. So that group of people have very long attention spans, right? Very long, focused, always. So we have two sea lions we have one who is 6 and one who is 7. And here at Como, we practice voluntary training, which basically means that at any point during the training, the animal decides that they would like to poop off and go somewhere else, aka our 6 and 7-year-olds maybe aren't quite as focused as they could be. We'll let them go and they'll just kind of do their own thing, and that's totally okay. So I know that we've got a couple of our friends in the back, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wander my way off into the backstage, and let's give a warm welcome to our pinniped friends who will be joining us quite shortly here on the stage, once they start making their way. All right, so looks like we are going to have two of our sea lion friends up here. We've coming up front, we've got Nico, who's going to be up front here just momentarily, and Poppy. So once again, Nico is our 6-year-old sea lion. Poppy is now our 7-year-old sea lion. She just turned 7 a few days ago, so she's excited to be 7 there. So here at Como, we also practice something called, our training is called operant conditioning with positive reinforcement. Now that is a lot of words that basically means that the keeper is going to ask for a behavior. Once Nico or Poppy completes that behavior, they're going to get a snack that they really enjoy, a reward. Now, for me, that's maybe peanut butter or chocolate. Oh, hi, Poppy. But for seals and sea lions, what do we suppose that is? Can anyone see what they're getting? Fish. Nice, wonderful, smelly little fish. Thank you, Poppy, showing off her fish there. So once again, they'll get that fish at the end of the behavior, and that means that they've completed it. That's awesome. Now, Como, they are really fun behaviors sometimes, like those nice little waves, or sometimes they are simply a fin present or a flipper present, or even toothbrushing. Who here brushes their teeth every day? Good job, everyone. So do our sea lions and our seals. We practice husbandry behaviors here at Como, which again means that our animals are participating in their very own health care. So right now, Becky is brushing Poppy's teeth. Nico just a few minutes ago did a nice little hold, and that is so that when we have to do any medical procedures with our animals, it's a normal thing for them. Anyone here like going to the doctor or dentist? Really look forward to it all the time? Yeah, there's a couple, perfect. Oh, maybe not, Poppy. So when the vet visits, sometimes it's not the most exciting thing for our animals, but by practicing these behaviors, like simply holding still and showing off those back flippers, or letting a keeper touch their body and move their flippers around, their fins, can help us when the vet needs to come and do things like any voluntary injections or blood draws from our animals, or if they need to look in their mouth or move around. So I mentioned our training, and we did see one of our training tools here. It was a target, and that helps shape our animals' behavior. So obviously our animals don't start off with knowing exactly what our keepers are asking them to do. So they will start their training with a cue and a hand signal. So a word and a signal together that combines means something to get them to do the behavior that we would like them to do. Potentially fetching fish here. Ooh, nice little jump through the hoop there. Oh, we're done. So here at Como, we practice those behaviors like that because it's very important to keep their animals' natural instincts alive. Sea lions are very used to jumping out of the water and swimming at fast speeds to maybe get away from predators or maybe even catch some of their prey, like some fish that they might need to find. We want them to keep those behaviors here, so jumping through the hoop adds a nice little area for them. Adds a little bit of fun for us as well. So again, those husbandry behaviors, we're going back to our target training, help shape it so that we can see some agility moves from Nico there. He's working on his dance moves a little. There we go. And that's again helping our keepers see what's moving, making sure everything's moving correctly, all that good stuff. The other thing we can do with our animals is by using a target or having them know these behaviors, we can ask them to shift from one area to the next in case we need to move one or several from one space. We have several spaces here in Como Harbor that they can go to. Did anyone here go to the old Sparky shows in the old Como Harbor before we redid it? Yeah, so we've been doing Sparky shows since about 1956. Back then it was all about the entertainment for the humans. Now we've changed a little bit, so it's entertainment for the humans and also stimulating for our animals as well. Doing these behaviors with their keepers every day helps strengthen that nice positive bond that they have. Make sure that they trust their keepers all the time, getting all those behaviors done. Make sure. All right, we're having a... Okay, so Nico was just cheering Poppy on, I think there. But we're having a little bit of a... Would we call that last move that Poppy did, was that a chin stand or like a flipper stand? Anybody? We're not really sure. We've had mixed reviews on both. So again, those behaviors like fetching a frisbee and bringing it back could stimulate those swinging out into the water out in the wild and gathering up some fish and bringing it on back there. Moving back is one of those shifting abilities there. Some breakdancing moves. Again, we can ask our animals to shift spaces and move around again. Or even say hi to our audience. Making sure that we're doing all that good stuff. Now, our animals here, at the end of their training, they get the ice left in their buckets. So in a second, we might see them go and check each other's buckets out. They love having nice little ice popsicles. Since I talked about shifting our animals, I'm going to do the same and move down here. Yep, see, it's the same thing. It's just ice cubes, but they got to make sure that the ice cubes are equal. So once again, we have Nico and then Poppy up there. Gotta make sure there aren't any extras left over. So, while they hang out on stage, I've got just a couple of things for you. So the first thing is, while you are going about the rest of your trip here at Como Zoo, maybe you're walking through some other areas, check and see if you can see any other training materials or training spaces that our animals can use, because we do the same kind of training, that husbandry training, all the way from our Galapagos tortoises, all the way up to our seals, sea lions, polar bears, and large cats. They all participate in their own health care. The second thing we're going to ask you to do is, if you learned one single thing today, didn't have to be at the Spire Sparky show, but I'll check it off my list if you did. If you learned one single thing today, take it on home, tell somebody that is not here with you today, a family member, friend, coworker, best friend, anybody in your life. Let them know so then you can help advocate for us in your communities as well. If anybody has any questions, I'll be hanging out down here at the glass for just a few minutes. You can come on down and ask me those questions. I'll do my best to answer them. If not, thank you so much for visiting us today, and I hope you have a good rest of your day at Como Park Zoo Conservatory.